evening, everyone. Thank you for attending today's workshop. This session is part of the 36-hour virtual hackathon that CrossKnot is conducting at 16th April. We have prizes for the top 5 winners as well as rewards for all the participants. I'll share the link regarding the hackathon in the chat box. So, it's a great honor to have Mr. Himanshu with us today. He himself has been intern at top companies, is a Flutter developer and organizer of many events like Flutter India, etc. Augmented reality applications are the next step of a whole new digital world that is expanding day by day. And in order to develop your talents in such a technology, you must follow the appropriate guidelines and follow the right path. Hence, at today's session, our speaker will teach you exactly how to construct an augmented reality application. You can ask your doubts and questions in the chat box, and Himanshu will respond to them by the end of the session. Or you can unmute yourselves and then ask it at the end of the session. So, let's get into it. Over to you, Himanshu.
Cool. Like, hello, folks. I like the introduction. So, first of all, I'll introduce myself along with the introduction. I'm a final year student, basically, currently working as a backend developer, and I love Flutter. I've been working with Flutter since 2019. I don't remember number of years, but I've been working with it, and I'm loving it. So I hope you are also interested in Flutter and want to explore or build or maybe have a career out of it, right? So let's start. So first of all, I'm updating you. I'm no expert on AR. I just experimented building an AR application with Flutter, and it worked well. It worked well. Yeah, yeah. So first thing, let's start. Let me share my screen first. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So don't get scared. First of all, I hope all of you already aware of how what Flutter is, how to work with Flutter. So what we'll be doing today, we'll be talking about how can you build an augmented reality app in Flutter and using a particular plugin. Basically, as you can see, this is a particular plugin that we'll be using it. So what is basically AR? In the meantime, I'll keep looking into chats as well. So first of all, what is AR? So I'll be speaking Wikipedia's description for it. As per Wikipedia, it is an interactive experience of a real world environment where object reading in the real world are enhanced by computer generated graphics. Like that's a minimal description. So basically, you might have used filters in Instagram or maybe Snapchat and other various applications. So basically, it all revolves around AR. So AR app adds data or visuals to your experience on your camera, on your live camera, and let you interact with the real world from the virtual world. So that's how AR actually works. Yeah. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. Let me proceed. So what you will be learning today. So first of all, we'll be focusing on what is AR Core. AR Core is something from Google. What is AR Kit from Apple, and what is this particular plugin, and how to use this plugin. Like what are the scenarios where you can use this plugin. So first of all, I'm assuming that you are aware of or you have prior knowledge of Flutter. In case you don't have it, you can just go to docs or dev.flutter, I think. Um, and from there, you can learn about Flutter. What is Flutter? Yeah, cool. Let's proceed. So let's get started. So first of all, what is AR Core? So AR Core is Google's platform that enables your phone to sense the environment, and understand the world and interact with the information. So basically, they are the description of AR. That's basically what AR Core does. So some of the provided APIs by AR Core are accessible across Android and iOS as well to enable the AR viewer AR experience. So there are limited number of devices that support AR Core. This is what I learned after experiment because I was trying to use it in Redmi Note 5 Pro. However, it didn't work because it required a particular, you can say, application, a dependent application, which is already present in the new generation of mobiles. That's why I was not able to you can say experiment with AR on a old device. So there are certain limited number of devices. So to learn the limited number of devices, you can let me share my let me open that particular tab. Hmm. So AR code. So basically, I have provided you with a minimal description of AR code, and there are certain number of devices that it supports. So these are a huge list of devices that it supports, but it doesn't support the older versions, the older old generation devices. So fundamentally, AR core is doing two things. Yeah, two things. Taking the position of the mobile device as it is. Like for example, I'm staying here, and if I'm focusing on a particular point here, and even if I scroll or change the mobile phone, it doesn't changes or doesn't affect the particular visual that is represented in your mobile camera. um, yeah, and it builds a like understanding around it, and that's how you will see if you zoom out and zoom in, the particular object will zoom out or zoom in, like as per as Insta filters. Like if you move your phone ahead, the particular thing will stay on top of your face, and it won't zoom in or zoom out automatically. Like it will understand the environment basically. So if you want to learn more about AR core, from where can you learn about it? So there's a huge you can say huge documentation regarding AR core, what it is, the terms of APIs, then we have anchors and a lot of stuff. So I'll be sharing this right now. Let me share it with you folks. Where is it? I think here. Okay. So this is what AR core is. Hmm. So I talked about AR kit as well. So what is AR kit? So AR kit is Apple set of tools to build obviously a AR environment around you. However, it has certain limitations with particular chip and you can say versions of iOS. For example, it works only above A9 chips, Apple's A9 chips, and iOS version greater than 11.0. And if you are into AR kit, if you are into Swift or want to try it out from the native side, they have certain documentation as well, and I'll be sharing that as well. So they have documentation like this. So here as well, you'll find the exact same description, however, with some certain features which differ from each other. Using AR Core, you can have it in Android and iOS as well. AR Kit is focused on the Apple environment. So let me share this link as well. So, so what we have talked about till now, I'll be keep looking into chat as well in the meantime. Yeah. So what we have talked till now, a minimal description of AR. What is AR Core? A Google set of tools or SDK. What is AR Kit? Same set tools provided by Apple for the AR or augmented reality development. So now we'll get back to Flutter. So in Flutter, we have certain plugins which support AR Core individually, AR Kit individually, and both of them respectively. So this is one such plugin, AR Flutter plugin, which supports both AR Core and AR Kit, and it lets you build your augmented reality application. So how can we do that? First of all, if you're a Flutter dev, you should be focusing on installing the packages. So as you can see, either you can copy this or copy it from here and then paste in your PubSec YAML. So let me open my particular project. Let's see if I have a particular project. In the meantime, if you have question about AR, let me know. So Android Studio might take, okay, why have I opened Android Studio? So I'll open VS Code. And before a heads up, the augmented reality application cannot be run on a simulator or emulator. That's why I'll be not able to explain you much more about it, right? So because I cannot like actually run the device because it will eventually show me an error that on emulator it will not work. So this is the plugin exactly. This is the exact plugin that I've cloned it, and there's some changes. However, let me open my minimal changes, which is this one. I think, yeah, this one. Let me close the other one. So here it is. So first of all, if you want to use AR, we have three types of plugins. One is AR Flutter plugin, which I recommend because it supports both AR Core and AR Kit, and it has a good example application. You cannot see a particular documentation if you go to this particular repository. You will see a minimal code, minimal description. However, the example application is quite good and very easy to understand if you are into Flutter already. So first thing was to add a particular plugin. So if I've already created an application which is working as expected on my actual device. However, as you are bound with a virtual event, I cannot run it directly. So I'm currently on which branch? I'm currently on starter. Let me go to the master branch. I think I have some. Okay, cool, very good. Okay, let's go to pubsub.yaml. So first of all, So first of all, the thing is you have to install this particular plugin, which basically install a particular dependency from pub2dev to your local, and it will be entered here in the pubsec.log file. So if you have Flutter developer, you might know what is pubsec YAML file, right? I hope so. If you don't know what is pubspec.yaml file in Flutter, I'll explain it to you. Let me know in the comment section. So next thing. So as I mentioned earlier, that AR application are supported on certain version of device. As I told you, I was not able to run it in my old phone, Redmi Note 5 Pro. So obviously they have some constraints. So what is the constraint? It is not mentioned here. So the constraint is you have to change the minimum SDK version in your Flutter application in the Android side so that your application works fine on all the mobile devices having SDK 24 plus. So let me open build.gradle in the app level. So in the app level, you will see such thing minimum SDK selected or min SDK. So you can have a hard-coded value 24 because it requires minimal 24 SDK version, or you can you can directly update your SDK. So if you have Flutter SDK in your local, you can directly go to the SDK place and then change the minimum SDK. So earlier, if you're using Flutter from the earlier stages, you might have seen there will be a certain integer here, not a particular, you can say a particular path or like particular property of an object, Flutter object. So this thing is newly introduced, and it can not newly. This thing is present in your Flutter SDK, the actual SDK that you have cloned or downloaded via zip, right? And you can have a hard-coded value as well, or you can directly update in your SDK, in your local SDK. And other thing is to use your local properties. So what is local properties? So if I open Android, you will see a lot of things, and there's one of the file local properties. So in here, this is the path of my SDK. So Android SDK. So here you can set a particular thing like flutter dot minimum SDK. So if I go back here and I copy this and like flutter dot minimum SDK version, and I'll set 24. So build.gradle on the next run will automatically pull it up, and it will be 24 actually here. That's how it is, but not Flutter Mini SDK. You have to use the local properties because it is the local properties of your local application. That's how it is. Yeah. So you can use local properties, then use the get. I think yeah, you'll have to use a particular thing. Local properties dot get integer, and then the path of this, like local properties dot get integer, and you have to provide the path which is flutter dot min SDK. So not get integer. I think get property. Where is it? Where is it? It is get property, not get integer, because that's a property, not an integer. So yeah, basically that's a property. And if I do this, after the min SDK version, which is set to 24, and in the min SDK version here, it is local properties or get property, and here it will be the path. Path will be flutter.min SDK version. Basically, this particular label. Yeah. So that's how you will set the minimal requirement of this particular plugin, and further you can use it. So this particular plugin calls your native site, and it already handles all the permission related issue. However, as you know, in Apple environment, we have lot of restrictions. So if you have certain restriction in your iOS development application, so how can you do that? How can you fix that? So this is the this is the pod where you can update the pod file. You have to update the pod file with such permission. So I'm not a, you can say, iOS developer, because I am bounded with Windows and web and Android, and I don't own Xcode. That's why this thing, you can refer to it if you have Xcode and if you are into iOS. So that's how you can cope with the permission issues. What is the next thing? So the main thing is usage. So this is a basic setting up of your plugin. You have to basically add it into your PubSub YAML. You have to set the minimum SDK version for your Android application, which is 24. And if you are facing some issues in permission regarding iOS, then you have to update the port file with permission, and that is it. That is it about the setting up. Now next thing is using the plugin. So how can you use the plugin? So they have a huge example application, and if we are into AR, so basically everything is a certain type of file or a 3D file which is being rendered in your camera or actual device. We'll be talking about that particular file extension files later on. So let's go with the usage. So let me try to run the application maybe on um, I have to run the emulator. So this will take some time to run. Let me let go of some resources in the meantime. Let's see how much time will it take to run. So let's go to main.dart. So this is a basically an application. This is a experiment that I've already done. So here you don't see nothing. You just see that we are just binding the application, ensuring it is initial, and that is it. That is it. Next thing is our home page. So home page is nothing, just a particular button which will navigate to a different thing. So this is basically one extra screen. So here's the main. Okay. Okay, I think my AVD is not working as expected. Very good. This is expected in the live events. I think so. So the main thing here is this particular class. So in this class, you don't see anything at all. You'll just see a button on tap, which is resulting into nothing. So what can you do? So I have certain number of, we can say, objects which are predefined. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So so we have already created certain methods which can be used to, you can say, add particular type of file in your local or pull a particular file from remote. So how can you do that? So first of all, let me just remove or get back all the code, so that because we are bounded by virtual event, I cannot run this application on actual device. So what can we do? So first thing first, we are getting a lot of errors. Why? Because the plugin is not imported. Or is that so? Even if I've added in the PubSub YAML, it is not imported. Why? Because I haven't done pub.get. So if I go to PubSub YAML, I have to do pub.get. So, and this is the, you can say, benefit of uh, okay, sorry, my bad, just give me a call. Yeah, the work call is quite active. So next thing, the pub.get is done. Now let's go back to here. Here you will see all the dependencies are imported now. No error, nothing at all. So you are seeing no error at all. The next thing is using a particular event. So on clicking a particular button, this is navigating to a particular file, which is this particular, sorry, navigating to a particular method, which is doing something. So we'll be talking about that later on. First thing is why we are getting this particular manager errors and all. So you have to create certain number of you can say managers. This is basically some API level changes. You have to like instantiate a manager will be listening to all the changes. So first thing is you have to get to know about AR, this plugin and all the stuff. So for example, if I go to AR session manager or AR view, so let me just explain it to you in on frankly basis. So first thing first, when you open this application, you will see this particular. You will set up AR view. What is this AR view doing? It will basically create a camera view, and in the camera view, it will initialize something. What is something that you will be defining it here? So on AR view created, you are defining the initial things that you want to have in your camera. This is prior to clicking on a particular button, adding an object or adding gestures, something like this. This is basically whenever your application opens up, that particular screen opens up, the camera will pop up and it will initialize something. So what are these properties and what is this manager? So now we got to know what is ARView. ARView is basically creating a camera screen for you, and with some certain number of properties. That's it. And in the ARView, you will see lot of you can say objects or arguments that will be utilized to initialize your certain local objects. We'll be talking about later on. So what is AR Session Manager? Sorry, my bad. I'm quite sick. So the AI session manager is basically, as the name suggests, it's a manager which manages all the properties, all such properties like having a particular PNG on default, showing the world origin, the gestures, or your coordination systems and everything. Everything related to coordinations, defining a plane, getting to know a plane is done by AR system manager. And what is AR object manager? It manages all the node. By node, I mean a particular thing that you tap. For example, we have an object in the camera screen and you're tapping on it, or you are trying to drag it. So that is being handled by AR object manager. What is anchor? So this thing will be this thing is one of the key point that I explained you quite a minutes ago. We were talking about it later on. And then we have location manager. As the name suggests, it is just managing location. We are not focusing on such thing. We are focusing on basic things, which is session manager and object manager, max to max. So first thing first, the first basic usage that you can do is having a local object in your assets in pubsub.yaml assets and using it in your device, using it in your mobile application. So, for example, I have an assets folder which consists of these things. So, I think I have to pull the latest code. Okay, my bad. So, I think it will result already up to date. So I'll have to do git reset. I have not. So now assets is back. Now every changes are gone. So first, the most basic usage is adding a um, particular object in your local in assets and then using it in your ER view. So in assets, if I scroll down, this is a particular basically a chicken will be rendered in your camera screen, and you will see two type of files, a .b and .gltf. So this is where I was talking about the graphical or 3D files that are being utilized this in these augmented reality applications. So there are two types of files, but all of them are called GLTF, which is graphic language transmission format. So basically, I just read it from the different screen. So because I'll be not able to remember GLTF format. So this particular format consists of two types of files, having extension .gltf and another extension .glb. So what are the difference between these two? So GLTF stores all the you can say graphics and scenes and maybe gestures in JSON and ASCII format. However, GLB stores all these you can say node model descriptions. So yeah, basically a model description in binary format. So you have a file with binary extension. You have a file with GLTF extension. So you can utilize it according to your liking. So let's get back to the particular skin, which is this skin. So yeah, now everything is created. So basically, these particular manager were initialized with a particular node and web local node and web node. So local node is something which which will be added whenever you click on a certain button which is add or remove local object, and same for web. So first of all, we are disposing. So the quick reminder: always dispose of all the listeners or controller or managers if we are removing the whole screen, just to let go of resources. Quick reminder. So let's get back to it. So first of all, we are initializing something. So what are these properties? These properties are quite complex. So these properties define what? So these settings are used to define certain feature points. So feature points are, you can say, basically dots. If you open a AR view, unfortunately, as said again, we cannot use actual devices in a virtual event. So if you open a particular camera screen, it will first search for feature points like dots, corners, T points, something like this. Then planes. So you define such features here. Like, do you want to show the feature points, true or false? It will display dot dot dot. Do you want to show planes? It will display a particular plane structure. You can set it true or false. Then if you want to have a particular show plane, do you want to have a particular image? For example, I have Doctor Strange hexagon or something. I want to display it in the plane, so I can just download that particular PNG, store it in the assets, and provide the particular path. So you can have Doctor Strange. You can say what is this? So I don't know the pattern or whatever the accent he builds in the actual plane, and then we have world origin. So this basically tells you about the coordination systems. And then you want to handle taps, whether you want to handle taps on clicking on AR view. This is before adding an object on the screen. This is basically a T point on which you are doing or defining something. That's how it is. Next, we have object manager. So object manager is used to add or remove objects. This is a different thing. It is just initialized. We don't have any object at all. On default, it has an object containing a 3D corner point. That's it. For example, what do we call? Uh, I don't know. I forgot the mathematical terms. X axis, Y axis, Z axis. Yeah, it is the terms. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. Next thing. First of all, when you click on a local object, what will happen? So I designed this method, or I followed this method from the plugin, that on certain click, on the first click, it will add the object. On the second click, it will remove the object. That is how it is. So first of all, you have defined the particular method or particular assets here, which is chicken, and here we have chicken GLTF, chicken bin, not bin, not chicken bin. So here we are defining or creating a new node. So first of all, local object is is null on initially, because this is null. We haven't initialized anything. It is waiting to be initialized. So first of all, this new node this AR node is particular API from this plugin, in which you will provide all the you can say again gestures, transformations, type of file. Will it be a GLTF? Will it be a GLB? Then particular, you can say, orientation. Like, that's why we have vectors for the 3D orientation and all. And then a particular path or assets or web URL. That's how it is. So first of thing is type. So if I go to node type, what is node type? Node type is basically enum which have certain number of definitions. Local GLTF, which is basically a local file having GLTF extension. So it supports these type of files. Web GLB. So if you have a file having .glb extension on web, you can have a particular you can have that file in the URI as well. And then we have file system app for folder GLB and folder GLTF. So what is this? So for example, you don't want to involve assets, and you don't want to involve web, and you want a combination. Why combination? For example, how can I do that? For example, I have a particular application in which you want a particular filter, but before adding that particular filter, you have to download that filter. I think that's how it is done in where Snapchat maybe. I don't use Snap. So if I want the user to download a particular object, that's that type of file I'll be using it. So what it will do, it will download the file and set it into your default, or you can say what is it called? absolute path. Yeah, absolute path in your DCIM slash com dot whatever your application package name is slash that particular file path. So it will be basically stored in your Android folder in your file manager. Yeah, that's how it is. Um, so that's the other two files. For now, what I have coded here is basically getting file from assets or getting file from web. So next thing is did add local node. So we are what we are doing. So basically we are adding the node. So in the object manager, we are adding a node and we are waiting for it. For basic, it is a future. It is a synchronous process which will add the new node and return us true or false. And with respect to that, we will set this particular thing with new node or null. So with this thing on the next step, it will basically go here and remove that object, remove that thing. So this add node will do what? So on default, you will have a particular T point, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, something visualized in your camera view on default. Um, However, on the next click, it will add an object over it. I think I have certain, yes, cool. I have certain videos. I remember right now. Thank you so much. So thank you to me. Let me get back to you. Let me stop. Do we have something? Do we have something? Okay, I'm getting, okay. VLCPA player is not modified. Yeah, portal for Doctor Strange. Cool features, points, Doctor Marvel. Okay, Umesh is quite hyped. Hmm. Okay, let's proceed. So on default, what will happen? So this is what when I click on the application. Thank God I have created a video out of it. So I haven't tapped on any object. This is how your actual thing will look like. So this is my setup. Basically, it's quite bad. So when you open this thing, it will, yeah. This is the 3 point that I'm mentioning. So x y z axis, and that's how you, on default it will looks like, right? Try point. And when I try to add an object out of it, maybe a local object, so what will happen? So this is how local object I added. So first of all, in the previous video, you don't see this permission thing. So on the first time when you open the application with this particular plugin in it, you will see this thing because it is already being handled. Being yeah, yes, part, yes, self appreciation. Yeah. This is already being handled by the plugin itself. So I'll set up some permission while using the app only because I respect my privacy. So next thing, when you hover over it, first of all, you will see the same a corner T point having those X, Y, Z axis. And if I click on the add or remove local object, just watch over it. This will be a huge chicken. It will be displayed in the screen. So you can see we are below the chicken and now I'm watching the chicken. So this is how it will look like. On clicking a particular this is now removed. So let me get back to it and save. Yeah. So after clicking on it, a huge chicken was initialized here, and you can see we are below it, and on the next click it will be removed. So why was it too much zoomed? So this is regarding anchors. So when this ARV was generated, you can see the Z point or the try point here. The corner is quite close to us. We are very much close to it. And if I click on this, the chicken will be loaded on that particular point. And as I'm too much close to it, that's why it is being uh, that's why it is displayed too big. And if I scroll out of it, it will automatically adjust its size according to that certain point. That's how it is. So let's get back to it. So that's the working of this particular method. I hope you're able to understand it. In the meantime, if you have any question, let me know. Um, I'll get back to this particular method again. So, what is this method doing? First of all, we are defining a new node which will have your local asset with certain, you can say, coordination system, rotations, transformation using vector 3, and we are providing certain orientation. And second thing is we are having a check whether this local object node is initialized. If it is initialized, we will remove it. Else, we will proceed with creation of the new node and setting up it to the local variable. So that is what this particular method is doing, and I have just now displayed it to you how it is done. If you're okay with this, I'll proceed with the remote one, the remote object one. Let me know in the chat. In the meantime, if you have any question regarding AR code, I'm no expert, but I can help you out somehow with my experiment. Anyone? No one? I thought talking about Doctor Strange hype you up, but no one is responding. What happened? Oh, like apart from Umesh, no one is excited, right? Yeah. So, yeah, no issues, no issues. Let's proceed with web. So basically, in web, you have the same properties. You will define. You can define the same set of rotations, transformation, coordination system of your initial object, but with the URI and a type of file. So if I go back to Node Node tab, enum having WebGL. WebGL is a type of file that we are using for this particular thing. And if I go to this particular repository, so this is a you can say a good repository for you if you want to what if you want to get any type of file. So this particular repository have a huge file, and you can see 1.2 and 2.0. Basically 2.0 will have lot of files. So you can see a lot of GLTF or 3D files that you can utilize in your local from remote or from remote or by downloading it using path provider or what, right? So what is happening here? We are just providing a Fox GLB file. Note here, GLB file, and the same thing. We are creating a new node. We are adding it over the existing object. So, for example, I have the Z point. Is there any delay? Uh, do you are you hearing any delay or something, or you're seeing some delay in the screen, not with the audio? No. Okay, let me proceed. Okay, I'll proceed then. So for example, let's assume if I had chicken already using local object, I didn't remove it, and I click on the web one. So you will see a fox over the chicken. So that will be that will not be a beautiful, you can say, a visual. So how will it look like on the remote thing? So same self appreciation. I have a video for this as well. So this is a remote one. So wait. So after clicking on the screen, AR view is created. It took some time. It is created. Now you can see I'm too much close to my secondary screen. Now I click on the add or remove. You will see the 3D point which is quite close. Now I will keep zooming out, zooming out, zooming out. That you can see that particular point is still there. This is due to anchors. So as I mentioned earlier, if you have a filter on your face and you're moving your camera like away and close, you will see the filter on the exact same place. That's how AR or the particular SDKs understand about your environment. So are you ready for the Fox? Are you ready for the Fox? So if I zoom out now, I will click on this and you will see the beautiful Fox here, right? So we are still to close the fox because this particular fox is too big, too big to and you can see the particular point. The point is too small, but the fox is too big. So you can have your particular you can say orientation, animation, and even size as well over here. And that's how your AR application is built. This is the basic. You can say the basics of basics usage. Yeah, you just learned about two things, using graphical or gltf files from local or using it from remote, and the third example was downloading it and saving it in the absolute path and using that absolute path. So this is something that is user driven. So I have a filter. I am promoting a filter, and that particular user doesn't have that filter on default, then he will click on that particular filter, it will be downloaded, and then I'll be using the absolute path. That's how you can use these two types of files. So we talked about anchors. So next big thing is using anchors. So I'll talk about anchors, and then we can have a we can think about a particular example. A basic puzzle in AR. In AR. I don't have a video, but I'll help you visualize it. So, what is anchor? So, if you want to track the position, I'm displayed earlier, if you want to track a particular position, a pose, or maybe gestures. For example, you want to scroll over it, you want to drag the particular object. Here anchors are involved, so you need to define a particular anchor. So thankfully this particular plugin already handles anchor, or you can define anchor on a certain point by yourself, like clicking on a point, it will define anchor at that point, and the object will be displayed on that point only. So you can have gestures. For example, my video doesn't have any gestures because it was taking default anchor, it was using a default anchor. So if I want, I can have a particular tab. It will define a new anchor, and object will be placed on that particular place only. So you can define a particular anchor if you want to change the location of a 3D file. So as I told you, what is feature point? Feature point are a distinctive point in an image. Basically, the video or the live camera that you see is basically a stream of images. So the particular feature point is distinct point on a particular image. For example, corner or the 3 point. Now, the okay, so what does anchors do? This ensures the particular orientation or the location or placement of a particular object with the environment change. So as I displayed you in this particular video, I think this is remote one. So I was quite close to it. Now I'm zooming out, zooming out, zooming out, but it is learning about the environment and keeping the position as it is, where it was defined in the first place. And now, after clicking, the object will be displayed over here. So that's how you can use anchors, and more usage can be using a plugin, uh, a puzzle. For example, you have 9 cubics here. I don't know the particular thing. So you have certain numbers on that particular image on each block. For example, you have a matrix of 3 by 3, and each item have a particular number, and at the center there is an empty empty place. So you have to drag all those those 8 objects in ascending order, so that the puzzle will be sorted. So are you getting my point? Hopefully you're getting the point. I hope so. But what will be the next usage apart from this? So the three usage I told you about is local object, remote object, or downloading the object from web. Next thing is using the APIs. Or what API? There is Google Cloud Anchor API. You can utilize it in your local. You can use maybe cloud firestore. You can have your particular gltf file in your cloud firestore, and then you will download the file from cloud, instead of maybe finding the file on Google or finding the file from GitHub, like me, because I actually found this repository by googling, instead of placing a file in Firebase, or yeah, in Firestore. So that's how you can use. Next thing is maybe rotating gestures, animations, and fetching 3D objects from a third party database, or maybe Google Cloud Anchor API. So that's how you will be able to use your AR application. So, if you want, I can share this repository. This is basically a repository having minimal usage. If you want, you can try it out. However, if you have any questions, now we are open to questions. Question regarding Flutter, Dart, mobile. AR, ARKit, AR code, and this plugin, whatever it is. Tell me about it. Uh, um, Unfortunately, we were not able to actually run the application because obviously we are doing a virtual event and AR will be rendered on actual devices only. And obviously AVD is also being moody today. So, do you have any question regarding Flutter, Dart, AR Core, AR Kit? Let me know. I hope you found this. You can say this was basically an information session. So I hope you found this session good or understandable, and it helped you, or it maybe made you interested in AR code or experiment with AR using Flutter. Cool. Let me know what you have built. You can let me know. You can reach out to me via Twitter, LinkedIn, and let me know if you are building amazing AR node AR application. I'll be I'll love to watch it. So, do you have any question for regarding Flutter Dart? Anything, or maybe if someone is a beginner in here and you want to know, or if you want to dig more deep, if you want to do open source contribution, if basically if you are a beginner and you want a career out of it, we can have a quick, small discussion over it as well. I'll stop my screen sharing now, or someone, yeah, cool.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, for taking out your precious time and taking such an excellent and informative session. It was really insightful and worth it. So, guys, that's it for today's session. I hope you all enjoyed and got to learn from Himanshu a lot. Thank you for being throughout the session, which is a part of the 36-hour virtual hackathon that CrossKnot is conducting at 16th April. We have prizes for the top 5 winners as well as rewards for all the participants. We have shared the link regarding the hackathon in the chat box, so do check it out and register as soon as possible. Thanks a lot.
Good luck. Thanks for having me.